Good evening, happy new year to you all. Welcome to the PinkUn Show 2019, our dedicated Canaries shenanigans that blows a fuse on a regular basis. I'm Michael Bailey. We are here at the Woolpack Public House in the centre of Norwich. We are live, and over the next 30 minutes or so we will sum up City's festive fun, see if there is any magic waiting for the FA Cup, pray for some Colney healing, and gulp at the opening of the January transfer window. There's also the current championship picture and 2019's opening round of Flip the Bird with some logistical issues coming up, all on the way. And we will do this in the company of tonight's guests, who are Eastern Daily Press correspondent David Freezer and City supporter Alex Ware. Gentlemen, happy new year to you. Thank you so much for coming on. How are you doing, Alex? You well?
Happy new year. Slight cold, but not bad.
Okay. I'm glad you've warned me. I'm sure Wesley Mulahan will be all right with it. Dave, how are you?
Fine. I had a day off today. We kind of miss, what's it called? Betwixtmas. So I had a Betwixtmas day.
I've literally never heard that before.
Our colleague Ian Clark used it in his column in the EDP today. So yeah.
Sorry, Clark. Yeah, I didn't read it.
So I did nothing today. It was great.
Well, yeah, all right. Rub it in. There we go. Alex, you have some time off over Christmas to enjoy yourself? Enjoy some football?
Yep, most of the games, and then back to work today. So I've got back to work blues today.
Yep. No idea what that is, but I hope you're enjoying it if you've got back to work blues today. Brilliant stuff. So, all being well, we are live once again, as we were before Christmas, on 4 platforms: PinkUn.com, the PinkUn Facebook page, as well as Twitter @PinkUn, and the PinkUn YouTube channel. Wherever you are watching us tonight, thank you very much. It's quite quiet in here. It's very different to how it was before Christmas. Of course, over the course of the show, we want to hear from you too, whichever channel that is on, be it on City's festive results, who you'd pick for Pompey, but especially your hopes and fears for the January transfer window. Good or bad, in or out, let us know. And you can do that through, get those all through to us here at the pub. Simply post your words below the live feed, either on the PinkUn Facebook feed, the YouTube chat box, reply to the PinkUn Twitter feed, or and hopefully those messages will flip through to my phone. So on YouTube, Chains are Dom 1, evening everybody, evening Chains. Flynn Lucas Wilkinson, evening, double thumbs up. Oliver Goddard, yellows. Well said, Oliver. Flynn, thank you so much for your messages. I'm sure we've got some on Twitter too, although my phone's being a bit slow. Dave sent a nice message. That's always welcome. Thanks, Dave. Get it some plugging. And we are live on Facebook too, which is very nice. Diane Bartlett, anybody there? Winky face, shocked face, yellow and green hearts. Tom DeCow, hello from Canada. Happy New Year and on the ball, City, which is lovely to hear from you, Tom, all the way from Canada. Hope it's not too cold. Get your messages in. I'll try and keep pace with them, and we'll bring you all up to date. So it is now the time for 2019 to shine in the very way of Wesley Mulahan. Not so much Onel Hernandez. We appear to have lost him. Maybe he's injured. Who knows? But thankfully, we've got a spoon and a glass. Alex is stepping in. He's not going to break it. These are our first toast. Oh gosh, I'm tired. Of New Year Norwich City headlines. It's very lovely, discreet. Christmas is over if you want it. It's a patchy 4 games for City over Christmas, 5 points from a possible 12, a few injuries too, but they're done with. It's gone. On with the rest of the show. Valued to the max. Arsenal and Spurs get linked with Max Aarons to signal the start of the January fun. Leave it until the summer, boys. Leave it. Jarvis is their command. It's a good one, that one. Matt gets his loan move to Walsall, and with that his City career is effectively over. It never worked. It's a real shame. Let's not make the same mistake again. And finally, singing your hearts out. Portsmouth awaiting the FA Cup 3rd round on Saturday. The Barclay is a singing section, so get in touch with the Carrow Road box office if you want to add to the atmosphere. The Pompey fans have dished out some stick for that, but then it's quite a while since they had a big game like this to worry about. Ha! Or one more, Alex.
Oh, one more.
I didn't warn you. Well done indeed. Okay, gents, let's get on with it, shall we? A good or disappointing Christmas for Norwich City?
Slightly disappointing, I guess. I guess even the Forest result, I think we've played well over most of the games, especially the home ones, but it's just disappointing to be conceding some sloppy goals, really.
Yeah, there were a few of them, weren't there, Dave?
Certainly were. 5 points from a possible 12. Certainly got out of jail a bit on New Year's Day with Leeds and West Brom both losing. So Yeah, all in all, it's not really damaged things too much. So I've seen quite a few people saying, well, hopefully this is the wobble. Everyone's going to have a wobble. There'll probably be another one or two to come. But yeah, if they've managed to come through all that with all the injuries as well and still be second, I think everyone can breathe a fairly big sigh of relief.
It feels like a long time ago, but the last game that Norwich, the first game Norwich played, before we were last on, was the Blackburn game. A brilliant win at Blackburn, really, a late one, but I mean, so important given what happened over the rest of the Christmas time. Forest was quite miraculous, wasn't it? I mean, for Norwich to have been in that situation, they probably should never have really been 3-0 down, but to pull it back in the way they did, Alex, I mean, where was that in terms of the comebacks of the season so far? Because there's been a few.
Yeah, I always think it's always strange when you're celebrating that way for a draw. Again, we shouldn't have been 3-0 down, but we hope that was our blip perhaps. But yeah, unfortunately it didn't go as well in the Derby game, but hoping things improve.
Yeah, hopefully they will. The Derby one's a weird one. I mean, we're almost in a situation now where it's either Derby or Brentford is the turning point, I suppose, because it was a huge point, really, given all the circumstances around the game at Brentford. Yet Derby almost took the power cut to kind of do for Norwich, really, didn't it, in the end?
Yeah, it's weird that we'll probably get to March, April, May, and we'll be talking about that floodlight moment, whatever happens, 3-2 up at that point. The Forest game, I mean, an amazing moment, coming back from 3-0 down for the first time, or the first time they've come back from a 3-goal deficit in 14 years, that's not bad going. So it was a strange moment to celebrate an equaliser that much, but it meant a huge amount, didn't it? And, if Todd Cantwell's shot hadn't have been so superbly saved by Scott Carson deep into injury time, if Jordan Rhodes had just managed a centimetre lower, his goal would have been a goal rather than hitting the bar. We'd have had another incredible moment. So the one thing you can say through all this is character. They've shown time and time again that they have really got some character in that squad. And at Brentford, they weren't good first half. Everyone at half-time was saying, oh, Daniel should have changed it. It's easy in hindsight, isn't it? He's the guy that makes the decisions. But once again, they dug deep and somehow they drew that one, and they could have won it. If Dennis Shreveni had found the target, a couple of minutes before full time, that would have been another amazing moment as well.
Absolutely, too true. The results and the performances and what Norwich get from them, take it, move on. The injuries is a bit more of an issue, isn't it? Because that loiters and it affects the games coming up. And they've got some big injuries, really, in terms of Moritz Leitner, Emi Buendia, Jamal Lewis, and of course now Alex Tettey and Marco Stiepermann as well. So these are big players, and we're all going to be wondering how Norwich then sort of bear and deal with that going forwards, regardless of the FA Cup game. The game's beyond it.
Yeah, I guess in a way it's good that there's a cup game to hopefully move things along another week, but we're starting to look a bit thin occasionally, and especially with some of the defensive areas as well, then we might change things around at centre back, but full back we don't seem to have as many options. And you just, especially at such a busy time of the year, you just want as many players to choose from as possible, really.
Certainly do, don't you?
Tettey is a big worry for me. If he is going to be injured for a little while, and a groin can be a big problem, particularly at 32, getting on for 33, the way he popped up looked like it hurt. So for me, if he's not going to be playing midfield, it can't be Tribal filling that, because I think he's proven that he's not a Tettey replacement. He's a Leitner, he's a playmaker. For me, it's got to be Godfrey's chance. We'll come on to that more with our team selections for the Portsmouth game, but that one worries me, whereas Vrancic can fill in for Stiepermann, as can Cantwell. And the left-back situation is a worry as well. Godfrey's done fine, but he's not a left-back, is he? That's not where he's going to play the rest of his career. So if Lewis isn't going to be back for the West Brom game, then they may need to think about it.
They may do. We might come on to the injuries again later as well. We will see. Let's have a look at some of your messages, shall we? Lisa Jack, Christoph Cinnamon. Oops, a bit late for the food puns. They were in October. I think they were a little bit closer to Christmas than that. But Lisa, Christoph Cinnamon is very good. Have we had that one before? I think we've had that one.
Sounds like an Ian Clark special to me.
Like an Ian Clark special indeed. Miles Hopkins says, evening all. Tony Bisham, I want us to play Kenny McLean, and I want to see Louis Thompson play against Portsmouth. I'm not sure if Louis will be fit. It's a big question. Can you remember what was last said?
No, I think it's unlikely, and it would be extra nice because his brother plays for Portsmouth, Nathan. They both played at Swindon together, of course, so I'm sure Louis is desperate to get back, but I'd be surprised if he's going to go straight into a first-team game before an under-23s game. But the injury situation might just mean he goes on the bench. Don't know. I think it's unlikely.
We will see, of course. We'll see how it all plays out. Oh my gosh, loads coming through here. Oliver Goddard, Adam Ida on the bench for the Pompey game, please. Which is a fair shout. Why not? Guppy's Gaming Blog says, come on, you yellows. I think you've just got a plug out of that, Guppies, as well. So well done. Neil Luther says, Happy New Year, guys, with a waving. No, it's a clapping hand. Got to get it right. Thanks for the clapping hand. And Jonas BB says hello from the States. Love to know where you are in the States, Jonas, because I'm pretty nosy. Well, as you may remember, Grant Holt was here in our final show of 2018 ahead of his solo wrestling bout. It proved to be quite the night.
I got to think. Yeah, I used to watch all the time when I was younger, so it was something I really enjoyed. As it's gone on, I used to go to the arenas, take my nephews to Nottingham and do all that. So, and it was just kind of one of them things. As you get older, you get busier. I've not had a chance to do anything, never mind watch wrestling. So, and I got a fantastic opportunity to come back into it to do a massive show, which we're on the cusp of announcing next June, and it should be fantastic. So once I got the opportunity to come in, help out. And do it for the charity, I kind of thought that was it. And then obviously I started training, coming in more, being in and around it, kind of get a bug for it. You start getting a bit better at it, you learn more, and it's fantastic exercise, so I'm really enjoying it. I don't think you ever feel pumped till you come. Obviously a little bit nervous in my first match properly of doing it, so you're obviously a little bit nervous, a little bit worried, but obviously I'm sure it'll be alright, isn't it, mate, as I say.
And have you got anything special kind of coming up on tonight? A favourite move, anything like that?
If I did, I wouldn't be telling you.
Your referee's going to run over on his...
There you go, wrestling. More wrestling than you can handle. Well done, Grant Holt. I love wrestling. And in June, Holt returns for a huge night of wrestling at Carrow Road. Good luck to him and his fight mare. Seems like quite a good pun, actually. Well done. And let's hope it's another reason for a promotion party. Why not? Bringing it nicely back to the football. Wrestling fans, boys?
Yes.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you?
Actually, I'm a bit of a wrestling
I
fan.
wish I'd known that during the VT.
No.
Who's your favourite wrestler?
Oh, Grant Holt, obviously.
Oh, there you go. Oh, God. Alex, well done. Dave, wrestling?
I liked it a bit when I was, a teenager or whatever. I played it on the N64 a few times, but yeah, not so much nowadays.
And on that, we'll move on. Brilliant stuff. So there have been a lot of games in a short space of time, with a week's break now, of course, too. In which case, let's, slightly earlier than normal, and it threw Dan completely, bring you up to speed with the championship picture as it stands ahead of the FA Cup takeover. Amid a lot of differing festive results, New Year's Day was arguably the pick for Norwich City, as Leeds and West Brom both lost. In fact, Sheffield United were the only winners in the top 6. At the other end, Rotherham secured a huge win over Preston, while Ipswich couldn't turn a half-time lead into anything other than a defeat at home to a relegation rival. For some, that signalled the end of any realistic survival hopes, with Ipswich marooned at the foot of the table. No side, as Dan's laughing, really insensitive Dan, no side has ever survived such a paltry points tally so far into the season. Reading and Bolton also look in trouble. As for the top half, it's 4 games further along the season and Norwich are still in the top 2, so that's not bad at all. Leeds have lost their last 2, while Derby actually have only 1 win from their last 5 games, thanks to a floodlight failure. The bunch below the playoff places is as tight as ever. After Portsmouth, Norwich returned to action with a mouth-watering clash at West Bromwich Albion before facing Birmingham, Sheffield United and Leeds in an extremely tough run of fixtures. That is a fair point, isn't it? I was thinking while I was putting this together, it was a disappointing Christmas. Yet you look at the table now, and they're 4 games further along into the season, and still second by a couple of points.
Exactly. I think it's fortunate the results kind of went with us as well. You could look at that as an opportunity. We could have had a bit more of a buffer though, but definitely Sheffield United seem to be catching up a little bit.
I mean, it's almost taken effort for teams to catch Norwich up, hasn't it? They had such a buffer that, the fact that Norwich have had the room maybe to drop a few points. What, of course, Norwich need to make sure is they don't keep dropping points, and maybe then the others will follow suit too. Yeah,
I said before Christmas that after the Ipswich game we'll know whether this is going to be an automatic promotion campaign because of the fixtures that they've got coming up. West Brom, Birmingham, Sheffield United, Leeds, and then Ipswich, depending on how dead and buried they are by that point, it could be a bit of a throw the cards up and see what lands, really. Or Norwich could absolutely destroy them and finish them off, fingers crossed. But yeah, the West Brom game, it's looming large now, particularly because they've got issues, haven't they? Jake Livermore was sent off them the other day. Dwight Gale and El Ghazi have both been out injured. It looks like Harvey Barnes might go back to Leicester, have his loan cut short, which would be a boost for Norwich, certainly ahead of that game. So yeah, to still be in this position is great, but this is going to be a real test this next month, 6 weeks. So after the Ipswich game, if they're still in second place at least by then maybe we can start to get a bit excited. But if not, look how tight it is. Yes. It's going to take 2-3 defeats and you'll be in mid-table. Yeah.
And the idea of it being plain sailing is get that out of your head straight away. It's interesting. Darren Moore's sort of suggesting that Dwight Gale might be fit for the Norwich game, so we'll see how that pans out, as you said. But it is interesting with Harvey Barnes being recalled. Tammy Abraham, obviously, Villa too. I mean, I was thinking, well, that's going to be a huge player to replace. And then, of course, I see that Jermaine Defoe says he's free and available and might fancy a move, and then he'd be classic Villa. Well, not necessarily to Villa, but who would Villa recruit? They'd just splash the money and bring someone in, I guess, like that if he fancied it. So I guess there's a lot that could still happen in this month, especially because we love January, don't we?
Yeah, it's just very hard to predict. I think especially 2 weeks ago I would have been struggling to think where we might need positions, but you add a few injuries and suddenly if one of your fullbacks is injured, then you do start looking around and think we might not be talking so much about who leaves and looking at who we might be bringing in.
Absolutely, indeed. We've got loads of messages, so we'll try and get through some of those in a moment. Worth pointing out, there was a report today from the Exeter end that Tristan Abrahams, who's on loan at Exeter at the moment, was coming back to Norwich. That as the end of his loan spell. It sounds like that is not entirely correct and maybe premature at the moment. He's staying there on loan. It may be just that the quotes from the... I don't even know who is Exeter manager at the moment. Can you remember, Dave?
Darren Way.
Darren Way, former Norwich player, of course. Thanks, Dave. Well...
No, it's not.
No.
It's Matt Taylor. Yeovil is Darren Way, isn't it? Matt Taylor is there. But I think they're just selling Jayden Stockley, aren't they? Who's the top scorer in League Two, if I'm not getting my wires crossed. I think several clubs have activated his release clause. So I don't think Tristan has been playing that much, but there may be an opportunity coming up for him.
Exactly. And as far as we're concerned, he will be spending the rest of the season on loan at Exeter. But this is January. Never say never or ever or such things and stuff. January in a moment. Ipswich. Are you officially relegating them? You two? Yeah.
I think a week ago I thought they might turn it around and they might at least stay up. Things aren't looking so good now. I just don't really know how they're going to attract players in January in the position they are.
Yes, I have a good friend who supports Ipswich. Those of you who saw the Sky Sports documentary about the derby, where me and him were both included in that montage of various people, I can't bring myself to mock him about it this year because they're so sorry, aren't they? They're dead and buried as far as I'm concerned. I really cannot see them getting out of it, and if this ends up getting clipped out in May, then fair play.
Yeah. They would have done something that no one else has ever done before, so fair enough. What a derby that's going to be in February. I don't know what to make of that ahead of it, and I'm just going to forget about it and put it to the back until it comes along. Let's get some of your messages. There are loads all over the place. Bear with me. Thank you. We've got to touch on this one. Neil Austin is the one that's staring in front of me. Thanks, Neil. Jason Punchin, discuss. Rumour, but surely doesn't fit our profile. Happy New Year. Yeah, an interesting one. I think the suggestion is loan from Palace, which is his club. And that's from the local media in London, News Hopper. To me, it doesn't fit at all. I almost laughed, but you could possibly see how it would, well, at least where the logic lies.
Yeah, I mean, obviously how Stuart Webber's pitched the long-term transfer strategy, it doesn't fit in. You know, he's not somebody who's going to have saleable value down the line. But if you're top two in January and you're looking for someone to give you the edge, maybe if you think maybe Huckabee Crouch type signing. I know they were earlier in the season, but they were signed in mind to give a promotion push, weren't they? So, you know, he's a very good player. If Norwich could bring him in, then I think he'd be a real asset. But A, I think his wages are going to be a lot, and B, Alan Nixon, the Sun transfer guy, has said that Huddersfield are in the driving seat for it all along. So he's not going to come to Norwich instead of a Premier League team, I wouldn't have thought.
I cannot see the wages fitting at all, regardless. But
no, again, like I said, it doesn't seem to fit with the kind of players we've been recruiting, but it might just be one of those extra rolls of the dice you might make when you're in the top two.
Guppy's Gaming Blogs, there you go. They answered your question there on Jason Punchin too. We've got loads of messages here. JCrick12, OTBC, hello JCrick12. Got a feeling Lambert might leave Ipswich before the end of the season. What do you think? Enjoying this season. Enjoying the season. I live in Ipswich, so I look smug constantly. Top work. Will he even be in charge come the derby, which is after the window?
I guess it depends if he gets any backing in January. When he took the job, I just thought he must have taken it being promised at least something to play with in January, and he might just make do until then. But if he can't bring anyone in, I can't see him staying.
We're all on the YouTube messages at the moment, so keep them flying in. Jonas BB trying to stir the pot. What money would you take for Aarons? Some large numbers flying around. And bearing in mind, it seems to be the consensus, if Norwich were even to countenance the idea of selling him, it'd be with a loan back until the summer. That
would be absolutely essential, yeah. I mean, 15 million does sound a lot for a guy who's literally just broken through, played 20 games. I know he looks... The big thing with Max is that he looks like he's got the temperament for it, doesn't it? It looks like nothing's phasing him. It looks like you could put him in a Premier League game and he'd deal with it. He's done outstandingly well for an 18-year-old. But yeah, I suppose the deal would need to be in the region of 15 million, or it's certainly worth up to that, and absolutely the loan back would be required. But that would knock some of the fee off, wouldn't it? Because they would be affording you something in the deal then.
I just think it has to be obscene, because otherwise Norwich just wait until the summer, don't they? So obscene money, that's what we're talking here, and you can decide what obscene is. But Guppy's Gaming Blogs, another plug, doing well, Guppies. 30 million minimum £30 million. That'd be... no. Well, but then it doesn't need to, does it? That's the thing. Norwich don't care if it doesn't happen. So, no. What else have we got? And Chains Aldom. He asks if Max Aarons will be on the move this month. As we say, we all hope not. Elliot Hatton said, just seeing Talk Sports supercomputer prediction of Norwich's champions. Supercomputers can't be wrong. Alex?
Well, you can't argue with that, can you?
Brilliant stuff. Well done. James Beck, has Todd Cantwell signed a long-term contract? Not that we know of or that has been announced as yet. Norwich have an option beyond this season, so they're fairly relaxed, I would say, to paraphrase Daniel Farker. Keep the messages coming on. We'll come back to them again in a moment. But for now, you know what time it is, Dan. Yes, it is Flip the Bird, the game that will shine even brighter in 2019, maybe. Last time out, Grant Holt's debut 8 was impressive, while Connor clawed a place higher with his 5. Tonight, Alex, and notice I'm calling you Alex, by the way, aims to beat his 5 from last season, while Dave will want to break free from this season's 5 logjam. There's lots of people on 5 this season. So we've got a slight issue. We've kind of run out of beer mats. So you reckon you'll be fine? All right. Just going for a PB, yeah. So
if I manage to get through 10, then I'll just start again.
Get heated.
There are more than I thought, actually. Well done, Tony's got a few more there, I reckon. So good work, Tony. Well done. Right, everyone ready? Dan, you ready? He looks ready. Go on then, count us in. 3, 2, 1, go. It's a concentrated start from this pair, who make a very good start as well, it has to be said. I'd be a little bit worried we're going to run out of mats if this continues. Dave looking very concentrated. Alex with a consummate little tick over there. Dave getting his pile all correct. These two are consummate. These two they've done this before. They look comfortable in the circumstances. Dave is actually reacting to how well it's going.
It's aerodynamically balanced. I'm loving it.
There is a suggestion maybe these are a bit performance enhanced beer mats due to the improved performance levels. That was worryingly good. Dan, we need to get the old beer mats back because we can't have this every week. Well, they're both very happy and checking their piles very quickly. Dave straight in with the
9.
5. I want to recount.
Well, I count them for you, but that is definitely 5. Dave?
I can't believe it. I'd just like to thank my mum, my dad, God, everyone that's helped me get to this point in life.
Literally, I've never seen him happier. Weird. Well done, Dave. 10 points. That takes you above Grant Holt.
Well, I've always been better at Grant at everything apart from football, and no one can prove otherwise.
I'd question his technique.
Wrestling, tyres.
Yeah, I beat him the other week. Yeah.
We'd take it. Maybe we can get that one on. That could be the undercard. Or maybe not. We will get a selfie and we will remember to do it. I keep promising we don't do it. I apologise. We will do it this week. We'll get a selfie with the guys and do that with Wesley Moulahan, which is of course the prize for winning. You lucky fellas, you. In the meantime, do you want to play this thing again, Dan? Back on. There we go. Right. Well, 2 Norwich players who have certainly been missed in recent games, it's fair to say. They took time out from their recuperation today to put a few smiles on the faces of some young Canaries fans. we're back, Dan. Dan's giving me a thumbs up, which is always a nice thing. So there we go. Now I have a little feeling maybe Jamal and Emmy won't be too far away from being back. That would be nice, wouldn't it? So we'll keep fingers crossed for that one. We will see. Given the run that Norwich have got coming up, that would be a boost, wouldn't it? It's a really tough run they've got on the cards, isn't it? The other side of this Portsmouth game.
Exactly. You just want all the options available. You want to be playing that back four that we had the good run in, and you want to be playing a left back at left back and a right back at right back. Is the simple answer.
How well has Ben Godfrey done for you? Because not only has he stepped in for the first time at this level at centre back and done reasonably, really well, really, and not much you could count against him for that. And now he's been at left back, where I'm not even sure he's played in his career. And again, he's just doing a job that's keeping things ticking over, and it's remarkable, really, given he's still only 20 as well, I think.
I guess we're all kind of scratching our heads wondering what we would do with all the injuries, and in a way only making one change and swapping Godfrey for Lewis seems to have, disrupted it the least, really. But he looks fairly composed on the ball, and he's getting up to speed. I think it's been good.
Yeah, it's been very good indeed. So Saturday, 5:30 p.m. kickoff for overseas TV rights. I don't think it's actually broadcast in the UK. I'm sure people will be able to find it because they do that. Magic of the FA Cup, third round, Dave. This is quite a tricky tie, actually, isn't it? Given it, third round against the League One leaders and Kenny Jackett's side as well. I mean, he's got a great record pretty much wherever he's been.
Yeah, they're still top, aren't they? I think Norwich have gone out in the third round in each of the last 5 years, haven't they? So
isn't it right that Ipswich are the only team with a worst record in the third round at the moment? Like historically for however long. I'm trying to say the words, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but that might just play into Norwich's hands as well, because Portsmouth have obviously got a promotion push on their own hands. So whether they'll play a full-strength team probably seems unlikely. And BT Sport have got some quite good marketing going on, haven't they? Don't disrespect the cup or something along those lines, where it's basically people shunning the FA Cup as just a big guy dressed in an FA Cup suit. So that is kind of what the FA Cup has become, unfortunately, hasn't it? And even if you're Norwich or any Championship side, it's not until the fifth round that you'd really take it seriously. I think most teams will make at least, 5 or 6 changes to their team.
I mean, let's be honest, this isn't last season, is it? We've got something really serious for Norwich City to play for. I've got to be honest, I don't really care. But, you'll take the game and see how it goes. Great opportunity, as we'll see, to maybe see some players we haven't seen regularly. But, would it matter if Norwich got knocked out?
No. I don't really think there'll be many fans that would say otherwise. It's just, in a way, it's just an extra week off for many players to help with the injuries.
Right, so the devil's advocate, because I know there are a lot of fans, I suppose maybe fair to say older than me, who love the FA Cup and just see it as a different competition. It doesn't matter what's happening in the league. You win every game you want to play in, and it'd be great to have a really good, strong cup run, which of course hasn't happened, as we know, for years.
Unfortunately, it's the money, isn't it? It's the Premier League promotion money which distorts everything. I know they've doubled the FA Cup prize fund this year, but that's still, a tenth of, well, not even a tenth of what promotion to the Premier League is worth. So, yeah, and Norwich aren't going to win the FA Cup. We know pretty much what 4 or 5 teams are going to make up the semi-finals at this point, so why bother? I'd just say enjoy this game. I think for these players it's almost a little bit difficult, because the fringe players are going to be put in, they're going to want to impress, but equally Daniel Farke doesn't really want another game, other than perhaps that it might delay Sheffield United until a little bit later in the season, which might be helpful. But I don't think Daniel Farke really wants to be taking on a Premier League team in a few weeks, because then you can't put the kids out, can you? You can't just put lambs out to the slaughter, so he'd have to play some of his more senior men. And
it's a curious situation, because the 4th round date is when Norwich hosts Sheffield United. So I think they're playing Barnet, is that right? I don't know who they're playing. But it's a game they'd expected to win. I did mean to check before I went on air. Apologies. Maybe Tony, do you fancy finding out who Sheffield United have got in the 3rd round of the FA Cup? He's on it. What a top man. So, you expect them to win it. If Norwich or Sheffield United progress, then that Sheffield United-Norwich game is off, of course. And there'll be a 4th round time. Maybe Norwich will get a free weekend. I'd probably take that, to be honest. But there we go. Is Barnet at home? Yeah. Barnet at home, Bramall Lane on the Sunday. There we go. So that's exciting. I've found that we've got messages on Periscope, so that's exciting. Andrew Burwood says, we can't sell Max, can we? Even a loan would be depressing. Well, yeah, I take your point, Andrew, most definitely. And Suggs NCFC would love to see Ida or Spyro given a run out on Saturday.
I'm not sure a loan would be depressing if they went up, because if Norwich went up, and say it's Arsenal for example, they would then say, well, you keep him for your Premier League season, because that's perfect development from their point of view. So hopefully, either way, Max Aarons is going to be a Norwich player for the foreseeable future, and I hope so as well. I can't see him agitating to leave in any way.
Love your positivity, Dave. Brilliant stuff. Okay, so big question. Who would you play this coming weekend? Now, this has been a bit of a non-entity in recent weeks. So this has been like, keep the side how it was. Obviously, you've got free reign here. Who are you going to play? Who's not going to play? Dan, who are we going to have first? Alex, let's have a look at your 11. Away you go. You kept him in.
I've kept Krul in. I think as a goalkeeper who hasn't played a lot over the last year and a half, 2 years, then just the more games the merrier, I think, and especially a couple of great saves the other day. I've gone for Godfrey in the Tete position. I understand that's where he played at Shrewsbury last year for quite a while. Parslack, I guess it's a look at him. He's a man who hasn't really featured at all, and even Pinto's got ahead of him on the bench recently, and you wonder if Pinto's still going to be here come the end of the month. We'll give Tribal another go in the Leitner role, and Rhodes a run out up top, and hopefully see more of McLean, because from what I saw briefly earlier in the season, he looked good.
Yeah, it would be. I think we kind of almost earmarked it a couple of weeks ago, didn't we, Dave? He's had a couple of under-23s run outs. This is a great chance for Kenny to get some first-team football, and at least let us all have a little look at how he's getting on.
Yeah, he played that under-23s game that Matt Jarvis and Oliveira played against Wolfsburg, didn't he? And he looked quite sharp, actually. So I think that number 10 role, where we've both put him in our teams, that's where he seems most likely to be effective. In first-team terms, they maybe need him deeper at the moment, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how he develops. I've gone with McGovern in goal.
Yeah. Dan, let's have a look at. It's up.
We've gone with McGovern. I've gone with McGovern in goal, just because he played the other cup games. Parsak is a big, interesting issue, which I'm sure will come up in the pre-match press conference. The fact that he hasn't played with Jamal out of the team, I would say doesn't bode very well. Is he still here? Is he going to be here? We will find out this Saturday, because if Felix Passlack isn't in the starting 11, let alone the squad, he's obviously not going to be a Norwich City player this season, is he? Ivo Pinto, it's just putting him in the shop window, helping him to get a deal. Maybe he'll be here till the summer just for cover, but he's not part of the future, is he? Godfrey, for me, I'd love to see him get a chance in midfield. Grant Hanley has to come in, and I think you probably have to play Zimmerman, because you're not going to play Closer after his recent injury. Tribal, I was quite pleased with Tribal at Brentford. What was the game he came in for? It was Hull, wasn't it? After Leitner initially got injured, and he was really poor that night. But against Brentford, I thought he was possibly a contender for man of the match in the end. So that's a big one. Marshall, similarly to Passlack, has he got a future here? Has this transfer just not worked out? We'll find out if he's in the team on Saturday. And I would just chuck Shrubeni in there somewhere. I mean, just because Todd, I'd rather give Todd a rest, and I'd rather give him the minutes. I mean, he's not a winger, obviously, but the way that front four plays, I think you have plenty of rotation. I think Daniel will generally want to stick to his set shape.
It's a really interesting one with Ben Marshall, because there's a player who did so well in the Championship, certainly second half of last season, just not really made any sort of impact. And again, in a side where Norwich haven't got a plethora of homegrown players.
No, he seemed to, early on in the season, he seemed to be playing right back, and he seemed to have a few errors kind of early on in the season, whereas I understand he was playing more on the left wing and the right wing at Millwall last year, and that's where he was doing well.
We will see. We'll see who the team's picked. It's going to be fascinating. Can't wait.
I think it could be a sort of a fun day almost. It's going to be weird, given how it's been the last few months. Just watch a Norwich game, there's no pressure on it. So, and also well done to the club for pricing it correctly at £10 for adults. We had that fuss, what was it now, 3-4 years ago, when the Man City game was 25-30 quid. So thankfully the club have learned from that.
Yeah, indeed, absolutely, bang on. Okay, top stuff, gents. Let's have a quick look at some of your messages, shall we? If I can get together with them. Here they come. Lisa Jack, both City and West Bromwich Albion score and concede loads of goals, so it's got 0-0 all over it. See, Lisa's already forgotten about the FA Cup. She couldn't care less. Alan Monument, did Rodriguez get his red card overturned? He did indeed. He will be available unless something untoward happens this weekend.
As well, because it was never a red card. The referee got it completely wrong.
It certainly looked curious, but then, it is a championship. Anything goes, which seems to be pretty much the way it all works. And let's see if we've got some more messages on the old YouTube, because there were loads. So let's see what we can go through here. All right, quick one. SJT Toby, which I guess might just be Toby. Hi, Toby. Where do you think we'll finish at the end of the season? Go on, give us a nice quick one.
I'll go for second.
Oh my word, I wasn't ready for it. I'm going to go fifth.
On the fence. Oh, he's actually put a number on it.
And I don't like that.
Oh, Dave.
Because if you're up there all season and then fall away, I hope I'm wrong. But I predicted 10th at the start of the season, so that's still ruddy good compared to what I was expecting.
Beautiful work. I love that. Do you think we need a left back? Lee Coates. Could be Quates.
Yes, I think we do.
Could be Quates.
Could be.
It certainly could be. Well, yes, yeah, you do need some competition for Jamal, frankly. Although we have seen that Daniel Farke, and it's quite a continental approach generally, isn't it, that they expect fullbacks and wingers to be able to play either side. So if Paslak is still a real thing, and he still exists and is in Norfolk, then maybe not. But we haven't really got any evidence to the contrary at the moment.
Have you seen Felix Paslak? If you have, let us know where he is. We're just worried about his welfare. MAA Arms. Hello there, MAA Arms, or M Arms. Our club is a great family club that does so much for the community as well. We should all be proud. Here. Angus Gunn on loan? ? Oh, Tim, poor Tim.
I don't know about on loan at the moment. I'd still like to see him return longer term.
Oh. Well, he's not getting against Southampton, the £13.5 million second choice goalkeeper.
Yeah, I think that's only a realistic chance if they went up. And frankly, yeah, Tim did well yesterday. But if you looked overall this season, is Tim Krul the Premier League #1 yet? Maybe by the end of the season, hopefully. But at this point in time, you would probably be looking to bring another goalkeeper, particularly as McGovern's going in the summer.
Yeah.
For the record, I'm pretty sure Felix Paslak is still around. So I hope, just to clarify, that it would be good. It'll be interesting, and hopefully he'll be involved. I'm sure he'll be involved on Saturday. James Shaw, should we sign Jordan Rhodes on a permanent this January window?
No, this sounds all quite harsh, I'm afraid, but the same as Tim Krul. Would you take Jordan Rhodes to the Premier League? As far as I sit here today, unless he scored another 6 or 7 goals the rest of this season and became a really key player, not for me.
It's a tough one, isn't it? It depends where we are next year, doesn't it?
Well, a little one, because you may have seen Steve Bruce has been appointed as Sheffield Wednesday manager, but only once he has sorted out a family commitment, so he doesn't start until the 1st of February. I think I've ever really heard of that, with it either being such short term compared to it being like next season. Anyway, weird, strange, slightly strange football appointment. But so Steve Bruce is going in at Sheffield Wednesday. That's of course after the January window will have closed. As far as I know, Sheffield Wednesday cannot recall Jordan Rhodes other than I think to let him go again. Basically, I don't think he can play again for Sheffield Wednesday this season, as far as I know. So don't sweat on there being a recall of Steve Bruce, because it seems unlikely, from what I've heard, that it would work out. I hope that makes sense.
Norwich had to pay a fee, didn't they, for the loan? So I don't think this isn't like a Premier League kid dropping into a Championship club, is it?
It's a very complicated deal, so I could be wrong. But there we go. That's the way I'm reading it anyway. Wait. And S.J. Toby. Now he said here, do we even need to buy any players when all our players are fit?
I still think it depends who goes. We lose Pinto. If Paslak stays around, we'll need fullbacks, and we've done well the past couple of windows, even buying younger players, even if they're then loaned back for 6 months. So nothing obvious comes up, I don't think.
Could be a quiet month, Dave.
Could be. Our boss Chris Akey has written a piece on the transfer window, which is at PinkUn.com already, and framed it quite nicely. Wilscott and Naismith probably gone in the summer anyway. Jarvis is now basically gone as a Norwich City player, isn't he, after joining Walsall on loan. Oliveira, hopefully that's sorted. Pinto, if he went, then yes, you would probably bring another full-back. But if you got those fringe issues settled, and then maybe could bring in a talented Premier League youngster to fill a gap that Stuart Webber deems is necessary, I think that is how people would probably define the transfer window as being successful, because by the time we get to West Brom, fingers crossed, Leitner's back in contention, Lewis is going to be close, Wendy is not far away. Once you've got McLean, Thompson, Morris fit as well, whether Thompson and Morris would go out on loan, I don't know. There's plenty of options there. It's not a small squad, is it?
It's not a small squad. You just remind me, Jacob Murphy, I think, got linked with Huddersfield today. So that'd be an interesting one. Surely someone who needs some game time, but that's the Premier League. Don't need to worry about that just yet. I think we're done. Thank you for a colossal load of messages. That is it from the PinkUn Show. I hope you've all enjoyed it, our first of the new year, whether you've been watching on pinkun.com, Facebook, Twitter or YouTube. Hopefully. I think it's worked. I'm sure you'll let us know if it hasn't. Remember, you can catch up with tonight's edition and all our superb Norwich City coverage on all our platforms, including the PinkUn app, but first and foremost, pinkun.com. I'll be at Carrow Road on Saturday alongside Paddy and, of course, Dave. So make sure you keep tabs on all our feeds for our big build-up, team news, live and behind-the-scenes coverage, reaction and analysis. And if you see us around, make sure you say hello. Give Dave a little ruffle of his hair. We will return next Wednesday once again at 6 p.m, live from the Woolpack on Golden Ball Street in the centre of Norwich with all the usual Canaries fun and games. So please join us then, be it online or in the flesh. In the meantime, a big thanks to our guests tonight, to Dave and to Alex. Thanks, gents.
Thank you very much.
Great multitasking. Mrs. Bailey would be proud.
Thanks, Dave. What a gent. And to the Woolpack for having us and not checking us out. That's always welcome. To the crew, which is tonight, that's Dan, well done Dan, and our shiny new man, Tony Thrussell in the corner, who we can't see, but he is waving, so that's nice. And of course, to you guys for watching and getting involved. We'll see you again next week. Until then, here's to the magic of the cup being some healing juice ahead of the Championship restart. We'll leave the FA Cup successes to League One Portsmouth. Good night.